I'll tell you the power of stock investing, and it's the fact that you can build a multi-million-dollar portfolio on a 9-to-5 salary. It's pretty incredible when you think about it. So whether you're earning 30K a year, 40K a year, 50, maybe even 100, it's possible for you to be able to break free and build a multi-million-dollar portfolio. So the question becomes, well, how is that even possible? How is that even viable? And it all comes down to the magical power of what we call compound interest. Now, ultimately, what we mean when we say compound interest is that when you invest $1 or you invest any amount of money or capital, it has the ability year on year, month on month, day after day to compound and continue to compound and basically multiply for it to make significantly more. So then we have to think about, well, how do we achieve this through stock investing specifically? What is it that we can do to put ourselves in a position where with a 9-to-5 job, we're able to actually break free and earn tons of wealth, become rich, etc. Now, this is why I'm so bullish on tech and I'm so bullish on AI. I've spent pretty much my entire career working in corporate, primarily for tech companies, to companies such as Amazon Web Services, who pretty much power all of the global infrastructure, or a large portion of it, from which many of our favorite tech apps are run on. I worked for a company called Twilio, where most of the global cloud communications are run from. So when you think about receiving a text message or an SMS from any of your favorite apps, basically Twilio is the company that powers that. And so I've always worked for organizations that are playing a massive role in empowering the future and the world that we live in. And the reason that I bring up that point is because it's those same very tech companies, it's the same, certainly in this era, AI companies that are continuing to empower the future and that to me have the brightest roads ahead when you start to think about investing and giving yourself the best possible chance of a notable return. By investing in tech and AI companies, these are organizations that have the opportunity for significant growth. And you then have the ability to benefit and to capitalize on those returns. Because if, for example, you invest in a tech company or an AI company that's going through significant growth and their revenue is improving 10 times month over month, for example, that means that their stock price is going to continue to rise, it's going to continue to increase. Now, if you're working in a 9-to-5 and you are earning, let's say, 5K per month, for example, you need 3K per month to live on, leaving you with 2K spare. If you just invest $1,000 a month, for example, so you just put away $1,000 each and every month and you invest that in some stocks, you invest that in a tech company, for example, each month that is going to continue to compound as long as that organization that you've invested in is continuing to grow. So you basically get the benefit and the upside of that organization's growth, even without having to actually do anything. Now, if you choose smart and you do your research and you find the right type of company, this growth can be absolutely exponential, right? Think of companies such as Meta, think of companies such as Tesla, think of companies such as Nvidia, for example, super hot one right now, or Palantir. These companies are going through absolutely explosive growth at the moment. And they've gone through explosive growth over the last decade, right? Certainly Nvidia in recent times. I mean, people who invested in Nvidia in the early days are absolutely flying. So you've got to ask yourself, well, who's the next version of these very said companies, right? Nvidia is not going to be the last tech/AI company that's going to blow up. There's many more to come. So if you can do your research and try and look into organizations that are high potential, that have the chance and are looking like they're trending towards having phenomenal growth this year and beyond, and you can be one of the earlier investors, you then get to capitalize on those companies' success. And so when it now comes to building a multi-million-dollar portfolio, I did a little bit of plugging away on some AI engines to be able to look at, well, how could this be viable for someone? And what it showed me is that if you were in a really fortunate position where you chose a tech company or an AI company that averaged at 10% compound interest, in other words, you were getting a 10% return on that company month over month, over a 5-year period, your portfolio would be worth $5 million, $3 million, excuse me. So the point I'm making there is that if you are able to stay consistent, investing $1,000 every single month, just putting in 1,000, putting in 1,000, putting in 1,000 each month, and you can average at 10% return each month, you'd have $3 million, just a fraction under $3 million after 5 years. So it almost gives you a much more surefire way to be able to get to a position where you can make and basically become a millionaire. Now, of course, it isn't that black and white, right? And the reason it's not that black and white is because you've got to choose smart with the types of organizations that you invest in. And you've got to hope that you choose a company or an investment that's going to be able to actually have that level of growth. And that's part of the art and the science and all part of the research that you need to do to try and basically bet on and back the right type of organization. This is where you can actually use AI tools to help with your research. This is where you can also go on, look in various different investment platforms, look at investor relations pages, and basically you've got to go through the process of trying to think, act and operate as an investor would by understanding what's the growth trajectory of that particular company, where are they going, where are they heading, what type of industry and segment are they in, and then you want to try and choose smart and put yourself in a situation where you have the opportunity to get outsized returns within that particular company. And so you've got to think smart, you've got to think bigger, and then try and create an environment where you can potentially get outsized returns over an extended period. So think about this as you continue to move and march forward. Think about which types of companies are innovating and set for prolific growth as you continue to move forward. Then try and choose smart, right? Choose an investment platform and try and just put in an average of $1,000, for example, each and every month. Just by investing that $1,000 per month over an extended time, compound interest will then work its magic, and it will continue to multiply that money, multiply that capital, and then over time you can set yourself up for notable and outsized success. So that's how, even with a 9-to-5 job and a 9-to-5 role, you can be in a scenario where you have the potential to make millions and become a multimillionaire. You need patience, you need to choose wisely, and then you'll be able to set yourself up for long-term success. So I hope you found this video helpful. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. What I do here is share my story, share my journey, things that I've gone through to put myself in a situation where I can live a life that I only once dreamed of. So I hope some of this is helpful to you too. Wonderful. Well, look, make sure you keep climbing, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.